So, sir, tell me something about yourself. What do you do? Where do you work? And about your qualification, education, and all.
I'm Imad, and I was born in district Dir, that is a province in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa,
All right.
almost in the middle of Chatral and Sawat. It lies the district. It is a valley, and I got my early education in government higher secondary school in my village, and afterwards I studied FSC Computer Science in Islamia College, Peshawar, and then BA. And then I studied my master's in English literature and linguistics from Namal, Islamabad. Uh,
Amazing.
Afterwards, I taught at International Islamic University as a NIP. That was in Prime Minister Shaukat Aziz's time. It was an internship program for the degree holders. So that really helped me. And afterwards, I started teaching at Namal Peshawar campus in 2008-9, and in 2010 I appeared in CSS, and I qualified that for on the very first attempt.
That's wonderful.
Then
Marvelous.
though I was not sorry.
That's marvelous.
Thank you so much. And afterwards, I got a scholarship that was Fulbright scholarship for foreign language teaching assistantship. So in 2011-12, I joined University of Pennsylvania, where I assisted and taught Pashto language and culture.
Amazing.
Afterwards, thank you so much. Afterwards, I like upon my return, I taught at Namal Peshawar campus again, and also I appeared in PMS, that was KP PMS, 2013 and 17. I qualified again the same, but I was not allocated, so I continued teaching of English language at university level. So I taught at Islamic College, University Peshawar, and afterwards I got a chance to teach Pashto language and literature at LUMS Lahore. So, since January 2020, I have been teaching Pashto language and literature at LUMS Gurmani Center.
That's splendid, mashallah. Okay, so how's going your experience of teaching Pashto in Lums?
Well, it is really amazing. The training that they provided, and particularly the leadership of Dr. Gwendoline Sarah Kirk. She has been a great language coordinator. So she taught us how to arrange and how to present Pashto material in better way. So, it is really great, and I got to learn a lot.
All right, so in which degree do they study the Pashto language or the Pashto literature? Or is it a compulsory or just
Well,
an optional subject? What about that?
yes, it is
All right.
an optional subject, and the students from graduate and undergraduate level, it is open for all.
All right. And what about what about the people who's like people who do not have their first language as Pashto? How about that? Can they adopt this course?
Definitely, there are two levels as far as language is concerned: Pashto 1 and Pashto 2.
All
So
right. So they
Pashto 1
would.
is for those students, yes, definitely from the scratch. And if we look at the root of Pashto, or it is a sister language of Persian. So Persian has effect on Urdu language, and at the same time on Pashto vocabulary. So many a times Pashto and Urdu vocabulary do match, and even the sentence structure. So it is easy for the students to learn it.
All right. So, Imad, as you are teaching two languages and literature, English and Pashto, how did you find out that you have got your interest in teaching languages?
Well, I'll say that when I studied Urdu, particularly, we used to study the text rather than, the pronunciation and the phonetics. So, but Urdu, when I studied Urdu, and afterwards, when I studied English as a student, so I thought that, definitely it is something that will fascinate me. And then when I studied linguistics at Namal, Islamabad. So
Hmm.
there, the like quality teachers, they opened a lot of windows for us to study
Hmm.
and research in language.
All right. So just as you studied that linguistic and in NUML, and how about the people who do not take these courses? Don't you think it is also the responsibility of the institutions, of the schools, colleges, universities to teach us this pronunciation thing as well, the speaking thing as well? Why we are not working on these? I mean, these are the real-time skills that everybody should have. So why are the
Yes,
institutions not working on those?
well, definitely, language is vehicle to the thought.
Hmm.
If like any language, that is a vehicle. So
Yes,
the
true.
better it works, so the better it will carry the thing that we want to put or like convey in that.
Yeah. Hmm.
So that is very important. And another point, as far as the speaking, like you said, the phonetics are if we look at it, so there are two skills: receptive and productive skills.
Yeah.
So in
Hmm.
receptive there is reading and listening, and
Yeah.
then the productive are
Speaking
speaking
and
and
writing.
writing.
True. Hmm.
So, in speaking, if we look at this, to check the speaking, so in Pakistan, even until masters,
Hmm.
speaking is not checked. Even
Hmm.
in CSS, even when you qualify the written, then even like they do check it.
Yeah.
So, the focus is not that much on speaking. That is a very good point, and that must be worked on.
So what do you think? I mean, if we understand that this is really important, so why do we have the ignorant behavior for this speaking? And secondly, if we want to adopt or if we want to work on these skills, specifically in the speaking skill, what would be the baby step to take a start with? As an institution, as a government, as a school teacher, as a teacher, professor. So from where exactly does it start?
Well, the like first thing, if you say about the interest, so the interest in speaking or interest in skills. So the most important thing is we need to create an environment for that. And like if that is teachers, so the teacher should speak to the students in the language, required language. And this is how like they will try. Another point is there are affective filters. Affective filters are like the reasons because of which the people do not really go with confidence towards that language. So one like that is shyness. That is another like one point. If they speak some wrong and the people make fun of that student, um, so like this is something, it is not our mother tongue. Like we should keep this in mind that this is not the mother tongue, this is the language that we are learning. So in the classes should be dealt as like mistake should be a learning step rather than mistake should be considered as a mistake.
Yeah.
So it should be a learning step, and we should encourage mistakes students to make, so that the teacher would know that where do they stand.
Yeah, true.
So that is another. And for speaking, or starting speaking or starting the communication skill. So I was reading like about one of the philosophers, and his opinion was, if you want to become a writer, write. So if we want to speak, so we need to speak rather than wait for the next day. In Namal, Islamabad, there was a joke, and they said that two classmates, they decided that they would speak English from that moment onwards. And like they said that it is since a month that they haven't seen each other. They used to hide from each other then. It was just so that
Yeah.
they may not speak. So like we need to start speaking, and there should be proper method to address how there are various activities which can be utilized in the class that students will enjoy, and at the same time they'll learn.
They will
There are like,
learn.
so even that is really important.
Yeah, I mean, my question is that if we have to go to specific spoken English classes, communication skills classes. So what were we doing when we were in intermediate, graduation, and master degree? Why do we have to go for these classes?
Well, if we look at the other subjects, so mostly the subjects are explained then in Urdu, usually are Pashto.
Yeah.
So the language, even in English class, if it is English class, So definitely the teacher would focus more on, like, first, the division of the time for the lecture, what part the students they are going to listen, what at what part, the students they are going to participate. So the teaching style, it should not be like teachers centered class where
It
the
should be
teacher
student
is the
centered. Yeah.
authority. Yes, it
Mhm.
should be say to, like, student centered class. Then even they'll take initiative and they will just participate, they will use it more. So the method is also important.
Yeah. This method is called, I believe, eliciting. The student is participating more than the teacher. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And there are, like, the language methodologies. There are like more than nine. The first, it was grammar translation method. That
Hmm.
the grammar used to be translated just like in Latin language. So it was, and still it is being used by like many. Then there was audio visual, audio lingual method. It was in the Second World War, after like the officers they wanted to learn many languages, so they used to listen and speak, and like that was another. There
Yeah.
was Suggestopedia, where the classroom has to be decorated and made it comfortable for the
Hmm.
students.
Hmm.
There was total physical response, where the teacher used to, if it was about walking, so he used to walk, and the teacher just shows to the students like this is opening, so they
Hmm.
open the
Hmm.
door.
Hmm.
That is another. There is a silent way, where the
Yeah.
teacher is silent and the students they just speak and they say, and when they are not right, so the teacher just shows a rod of a particular color,
Hmm.
and then the students try to correct. If they are unable, then the teacher corrects. So, like,
Hmm.
methodologies do matter, but eclectic approach, it is the combination of all these.
Hmm.
Communicative approach, where the communication is stressed on. So
Yeah.
there should be, variety of methodologies accordingly.
Hmm. So what have you done? Is it TEFL or CELTA? What have you done for this to teach the communication skills to the students?
Well, I have studied, as I said, I have studied English literature and linguistics.
Okay. Okay.
In
Okay.
linguistics, that is, they teach us for 2 semesters. They teach TEFL, teaching English as a foreign language.
Yeah.
So, in the first, it is about methods and the skills. Then the next, that is about testing and evaluation, because that is
Hmm.
also an important part in the motivation or demotivation of a student.
Yeah. True. Okay, so just as we were talking in the beginning, and you mentioned that people they do not have the confidence to speak in front of public. So what do you think? I mean, let's not talk about the language. Might be it's not about Pashto, might be it's not about Urdu, not about English, because there are people who are unable to communicate in any language instead in front of the public. They do have a public
Public
speaking
speaking.
fear. We call it glossophobia. I believe so, if I'm not wrong. So how can we overcome that thing?
Yes, it's a very good question, and one of my, like, favorite topics, because I studied public speaking at University of Pennsylvania for one semester,
Hmm.
and there Professor Buck, he was like speech writer for politicians, American politicians there, and he used to teach at School of Governance, UPenn. So I was lucky to take that class, with him. And like, there are various points that we need to focus on. The very first is clarity. What we are talking about, like, are we clear about that? Because, like, when we are clear about it, if we say that I'm not saying something wrong, so obviously that is the first step for, like, confidence. And afterwards, then there should be clarity. Clarity is, like, as we said, the message, how do we convey the message.
Yeah.
And along with that, there should be, according to the audience, who are they, how are they going to
Yeah.
understand at what particular style. So, like, that is another.
We call it
And then
you
we should
attitude.
also, exactly. Then we should also know that whether it is a descriptive discussion or topic that I'm talking about, it is persuasive, it is inspirational, So like when we do analyze that, so then even the style will be according to that. And then there should be like eye contact, because if we speak into like we look at one particular side, the remaining they will feel that they are like they were
Not the
ignored.
part of this
So
yeah.
exactly. So that is also something that eye contact is like important. And then the professor should also know that like the professor should evaluate this on three bases. The very first, was it clear? Then the second, what was the best part? And the third, what area needs improvement? So like
Good.
it will continuously it will refine the public speaking. And the shyness, it is all about like as we discussed, from the topic, the clarity, and also the body language plays an important role. And then the most important thing is strategic pause, that where do we take pause
Yeah.
when something is very important we are about to say, or when we say it. So like that will be a pause, and that will have a very good effect. Then also the beginning and the end are mostly the flat beginning, flat ending, mostly in public speaking. So that is also something that loses its charm. Along with that, there should be certain examples, some data, something which definitely convinces the audience. Then the way we speak, that like the intonation, tone, and also
Stress.
definitely yes, obviously yes.
Yeah, I mean, there is a quotation. I don't remember the name of that person exactly, and he said the world's most effective sentence delivered was with a pause. And this is what we
Great.
also observe, or we might have seen whenever in a movie. If we are watching specifically, let's suppose Shah Rukh Khan movie, so you might have seen whenever he says something which is really worth listening to, he takes it like that, he takes a pause after that. Yeah, so it's true. So
Yes,
the
that's
things that
right.
you have mentioned, these are really the gist of the public speaking. I mean, if somebody wants to become a public speaker, a confident speaker, so okay, so what do you think? I mean, is it possible that a person can learn public speaking without the help of an instructor, and he does it himself? Or do we always need an instructor? Do we always need a person, a facilitator who is helping us out to learn or get a stronger grip on the language? What's your opinion about that?
Well, public speaking is like if it is a person is his or her own judge in the best way. Sometimes we do not see exactly everything about, like the shadow, as Young says. So the things that we don't see. So the as it is public speaking topic or something. So definitely there should be observer. Even along with the professor, there should also be peer, observer. And the peer should also, one peer in the class, like there should be another, like there should be distribution of this. Everybody should have a pair, the person another, and they will definitely observe, they will give feedback in writing about all the points, clarity, the good point, and the area of improvement. So uh, observers are really important.
True.
And this is not a problem which is like of a particular area. There, like in different countries, even in United States of America, it is one of the thing that many of the students or the people, they do not face audience comfortably unless they train,
Yeah, they get trained too.
they get
I mean,
trained.
in Pakistan, you might have seen people saying, or you might have listened to that. People say that our mother language is Urdu, so why do we need to speak in English? What's your opinion about that?
Well, in modern time, if we look at different languages, the history of like various languages, so we know that the word, it is very connected today than before, any time before. And we need to look at certain languages that is called lingua franca. Lingua franca is a language that is mutually understood by majority of the people in a particular country, like Urdu is here in Pakistan or English is in the world. So if we want to be connected to the world, so definitely English is a language that the people must learn, and it is not something that by speaking it we become, like that, or it is a kind of slavish. It is no more the point. Nowadays there are different languages, like Indian English. They have given it their own
Meaning
name.
to that language,
And
yeah.
many of the people, they yes, definitely many people, like when even their children, they are born, so they start speaking English like as their mother tongue. So it is not something that to be mentally slave of a particular language, rather to give it their own color. Now Pakistan, Tariq Rahman has written a very good book about this Pakistani English, and
Hmm.
he says that it is rather Pakistan English or Piglish. We have got our own way of speaking English, just like we say
Hmm.
mix sabzi. So mix is English and sabzi is Urdu.
Urdu.
Chicken kadai. We have given it our own flavor.
True.
So are in writing double S or S writing double L in or one L. So the mother tongue has influence, but definitely we have got ability to learn many languages, and the children, they should learn, like, three languages. The local language of, the forefathers and the culture and all, and Urdu. It is a common heritage, and it is we are proud of this. And English, that is the need of the time. Also Arabic, like it is also very interesting language. It is said that if you learn a language, so you get another pair of glasses.
Yeah. Okay.
And when you get another pair, so definitely the outlook towards life, towards the world, like then it improves.
I heard once that if you learn another language, so which means you are going to have a new soul, just as you said, the pair of
Yes,
glasses. Yeah.
definitely.
True. True.
Yes, definitely. If you learn, that's right. Like, learning another language, it is really interesting, even for the self reflection as well. How I use like my language, the mother tongue, and all.
So, do you also teach, just as you teach English, just as you teach public speaking, do you also teach Pashto as a language to the general
Yes,
public,
definitely.
might be, or to some institutions other than LUMS? Or is
No,
it
not other than Lams.
okay?
Yes, I have got this opportunity to teach Pashto this summer at University of Wisconsin, medicine. So I'll be teaching that this summer from June till August. So
Okay,
like that
that's
is
great.
another.
So, is it just going to be the 2 month session?
Yes, it is 2 months intensive summer where they
Okay.
learn the whole course like in 2 months, though two semesters course in 2 months.
Okay, 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 okay. So now tell me, what do you think? What is the exact duration of learning a language? I mean, how long does it take, or does it vary person to person, or culture to culture?
Well, there are various factors. The very first is if we know the genealogical, history of the language, which language is sharing a branch with that, or like from which branch is that. If it is like Spanish, Portuguese, and Italian, so when you learn one, they're from the same group. So it is easier for like a person to learn that. So one, that is to know the common, the root, if there is any. And then there is the history of that language, because many languages, if you look at the history, so the effects of various languages on that language. So that is another way to know that how that is. Then the time that we give, if we give like 2 hours per week, so obviously it will take like any year or so, or two, because in the modern university level, they have just have like elementary level, and then intermediate, and then advanced, and these are taught in 3 semesters. Then the method, obviously, even before that, before teacher, the teacher should send something to the students so that they may come, they may practice, and when they come to the class, it is not a lecture, rather it is a discussion. So
True.
like it will be definitely, more beneficial for the students. So it is the right approach,
Hmm.
and more time,
Yeah, well.
energy, more time.
And what's the importance of learning grammar in any language? For instance, whenever we talk about the mother language, of course, we do not learn the grammar first, but instead we learn it from the environment. Or whenever we go to learn a second language, so grammar is the real time pressure that also makes other people a bit reluctant that they don't want to learn that language. So, what's the importance of grammar?
Well, grammar is the basic machinery of any language.
Hmm.
And when we learn grammar, basically, if we look at the grammar, so, the tense, the time, it is in
Hmm.
every language,
Hmm.
past, present, and future of every human being on the planet. Like they
Hmm.
do have
Hmm.
past, present, future. Then they have also got, any word that we utter in any language, that is one of the part of speech. Like it can be noun, it can be adjective, it can be adverb, it can be verb. So every language has got all these, but the pattern, the arrangement, that is different.
Hmm.
And definitely, like if a person knows grammar, so then they would definitely use, like just like in a sentence, suppose we say in grammar, we say that, first in English it comes subject, and then verb, and then object. So it means that first the actor comes, the one who acts, and then the action that that person takes, and then the object or the goal. So it is the mental phenomena that what we are going to mention first, and then what we are going to mention next, and how these are related in a sentence. So when we know the rules, the machinery, so we can make, infinite sentences then on the basis of that.
True, true, true. That's great. That's a very wonderful definition, mashallah, of learning grammar because this is the machine that you need to learn in order to speak an
Definitely.
infinite language. All right. Well, Imad, thank you so very much for your time. This was really an extensive learning we got from you and very deep aspect of learning a language of public speaking and all. I really enjoyed this session and hopefully all the listeners, viewers, they're also going to get benefit from this thing and will improve their language
Inshallah.
and communication skills after watching this one. So thank you so very much, Imad, for your time, for your opinion, for your thoughts, for your ideas, and for your answers.